Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our little world building series of making the world Dathmora. So yeah, we're back, and we're pretty much finished with the map. I don't want to add too much else to it, and I want to. The other thing too is I also want to leave this up to you guys if you end up trying to use this map or anything like that. If you want to add stuff to it, take away stuff. I don't want to add too much to it to where it's like a full pre-made module. Like I still want you guys to be creative and add a little bit of flair, a little bit of your own flavor to it, and not just you get what I mean. But here's the map, and I think we're gonna head off and start working on the deities of this world. I actually, talking with my wife, came up with some really cool little ideas for some deities. So I'm just gonna make a new little template here. There we go. New little template, and I want to go off and start making some deities and whatnot. So I was thinking, out of the many number of deities that you can have, going from 1 to 10 to 20 to, I mean, if you really wanted to go crazy with it, you could have 100. I'm not going to do 100. I think I'm going to stick with 5. So we're going to have, oh, I forgot to do something. 1 second. Okay, we're back in. All right, so we're going to have, that looks dumb. 5. I don't remember how to spell deities. Is that how you spell deities? I'm gonna real quick look it up. I think that's how you spell deities. I might be wrong. Deities. Yeah, I did spell it right. Look at me. I'm so smart. But I was thinking, wait, so I was thinking 5 deities, and I want there to be kind of, one main one, and then you have the 4 minor deities, 4 minor gods. And I was thinking, I always like to kind of switch things up a little bit, or kind of make things a little bit more unique, home brewing in a way. So instead of this world, and most, at least I find in most, tabletop RPG worlds, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons, whether it's Daggerheart, just anything, it's usually you've got your clerics or your main like priests and stuff like that. It's always like this radiant light that is the main source of everything. It's this divine power, all that kind of stuff. But what if instead of clerics, we just went off and started doing druids? I think druids could be really fun. Making them kind of, these guys are more of the priests and one. Like, don't get me wrong, there are clerics that use radiant and all that stuff. Like, there are clerics and stuff that are still around. It's not like they're extinct or they just don't exist. Like that is still there. I mean, especially with the 4 minor deities, like you could still have that, or maybe there's some clerics that only kind of coincide with the radiant side of this main deity, or maybe whatever. So, but I think I want to do something where it's mainly the druids are kind of the main focus of this kind of ideology, this religion or whatever. And maybe, but as I was thinking too, what if instead of just druids, I mean, what if it's a mixture? So maybe an NPC that multi-classes from druid to cleric, or cleric to druid. They've got a good little even split, like 1 level in each, or depending on how high level this NPC is, they've kind of got a good mixture of both clerics and of cleric spells and druid spells. I think that would be kind of cool. So in that sense, I wanted this main deity to have some main points. So I want it to be about balance. I want it to be like the life cycle, the circle of life, you know? So thinking, you know, life and death could be what its focus is on. So the life cycle, life and death, and just balance. But they are also just, you know, about just nurturing life and whatnot. And I was thinking one of their main, like their main symbol is a flower, a pure, like white flower. Sorry, I'm writing all this stuff down. A white flower with golden tips. I think that would be really cool. But like this specific flower, like this specific flower radiates just light and just a little bit of warmth. And these are they're not necessarily natural flowers. I would say these flowers are only known in certain areas. Maybe these areas are areas that a miracle has happened or have been touched by this one god or goddess, and that area now just grows these flowers. I think that would be really cool, because then, you know, let's say your players set off on their adventure and they end up finding, you know, a small clearing in a forest or something like that where there is just a bunch of these white flowers with golden tips, but they all are glowing and irradiating just a nice warmth. Like, I don't want them radiating just pure heat, but like just a nice like comforting warmth. So like just your players go out, find this little clearing, find these white flowers, and maybe you can use them for potions, or maybe they can help you give you a bonus or something like that. If you add them to a potion, it does a bonus or something like that. Like, there could be something that can, you know, mechanically happen when using these flowers, and you know, I can leave that up to you guys as well. I think that would be kind of cool, and that's like the main symbol too. So, you know, like, let's say you've got this banner that's horrible, this banner, and it's got this little like flower that's on it that just, this is gonna look so bad. But you get the gist of it. Like, they've got these little gold tips on it or whatever, and this is just kind of like the main flower, the main symbol of this deity or something like that. I think that would be really cool, having that as its symbol. As far as a name though, I don't know. That's where my DM side is like, or my GM side, like, what's the name that we're gonna give for this? I kind of want to do it as like a goddess, kind of a goddess kind of deal, female. I think it'd be kind of cool. Eos is kind of cool. And looking at just names, ooh, Anira. I like that. Oh, I like that. Okay, you know what? We'll do that. So let's do that. Oh, God, I keep dropping my pen. My goodness. So, Anira, goddess of, goddess of life, maybe? I'd say goddess of balance. Goddess of balance. So, with it being goddess of balance, you know what? Maybe there's two sides of the coin. So maybe one side, one part of this, like one of her symbols, is this white flower with golden tips. That she radiates this life, this light, and this slight warmth, and is associated with bringing life and healing and guidance and that kind of stuff. But maybe there's another flip side where it's the death part. I mean, again, it's balance, so she's keeping that cycle. So maybe there's two different groups, and it's not like the two different groups hate each other or anything. They probably live in balance as well, and understand that we need one to keep the other. So maybe this is that death portion, and again, I wouldn't say like, because I feel like a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but a few people associate, death with being undead or like zombies and vampires and just creepy, skeletons and stuff like that. But I feel like in this sense, she does not like the undead. She's completely against the undead, and it's more of like just afterlife. So bringing people, like the Grim Reaper style, bringing people to where they need to go. Guiding them to their afterlife or wherever they want to go after death and whatnot, letting them rest peacefully. So maybe this other group is more of a what would you call that? Like just Grim Reaper priests. Like that's, I don't know what to, but I feel like you guys get what I mean. But maybe their symbol. Look up some different symbols. Ooh, okay. So I kind of paused and went to go look for some ideas. Maybe the symbol for Inira and the death side of things is more of a. Because I was thinking, like we could do like a raven or a crow or like vultures, but like I feel like those are used way too often, and I feel like ravens, crows, and vultures, like. Not that they're bad or that they're evil or whatever, but like I feel like they are more depicted for darker means of death, if that kind of makes sense. Like more of it's like it's a bad omen. But what if this was more of a, let's go more mythical ways of it. Maybe this is like a black like phoenix, like a black shadowy phoenix. Just black shadow. How do you spell this? Phoenix. I think that's how you spell Phoenix. But yeah, so maybe it's like a black shadowy like phoenix, and instead of it being covered in flames as it flies through the air, instead of it like dropping embers or there's these flames coming off the wings or from the back of it, maybe it's just like this like black just like smoke that just kind of billows off of the back of it or off the wings of it as it flies through the air. And they're very rare to see, but like on days of major like dangerous events where it's like, a lot of death happened or happens, these things will tend to show up, or at least one will show up. I think only one would show up. I don't think multiple would. Maybe only one of them shows up. So I think that would be kind of cool, is this black shadowy phoenix will show up. Yeah. We'll do shows up in times of great death, maybe? Yeah, shows up in times of great death. Or cataclysm. How do you? No, is it why? Whatever. I just ignore my spelling and my handwriting. I do apologize. But so I think that's good. So that's a good start. So we have Inira, goddess of balance, all about balance, life cycle, life and death. Her two symbols are a white flower with golden tips for life, and then her her passing, her death side is a black shadowy phoenix, and that's the symbol for that on like banners and stuff like that. And it shows up in times of great death or cataclysm. And I don't think it's more, it shows up like right, because a lot of things where it's like, it's a bad omen if one of these show up, because usually after it shows up, right after something bad happens. I don't want it to be necessarily like that. I want it to be necessarily where people look upon it as like, if like this phoenix will show up like either during or right after a major disaster, and it is more seen as like Anira is here to help pass these poor people who have died and help them pass to the afterlife. Like, this is more of like a good thing. So like, I feel like it's seen as like a bad thing if you don't see one. If you don't see one, then it's like, oh no, Anira's not helping these poor people who died like pass on. Whereas if you do see one, it's like, oh, okay, they're being taken care of, they're being taken in and brought to where they need to go. And I mean, honestly, what if, maybe just hypothetical as like a minor thing too, what if, that's not how you spell what if, what if you don't see a black shadowy phoenix? What if you don't see one? Just so no phoenix equals area of undeath. So, and I feel like okay, for instance, let's say a family member passes away. Like your grandma, grandpa, like let's say you live in this world, your grandma, grandpa passes away on their deathbed, and that's it. And you don't see a black phoenix. They're not gonna like rise up and become a zombie or something like that. I think the black shadow phoenix only appears, and we could even do that, only appears, or no, actually I already have it there. What am I doing? It only appears in times of great death or cataclysm. So like if one or two people die, like that's, it's not that they're not being taken care of, it's more that they don't need this creature to help pass them on. Like they are still being taken care of. It's more of this creature, this phoenix, will show up during a mass cataclysm, because there's so many people have died that Anira needs to send like one of its top generals, kind of like if you think about like one of its her top employees to go down and help people pass on. Like it's meant for, or maybe the black shadowy phoenix is Anira. Maybe that's like her the form she takes when she's in the material plane. That could be kind of cool too. But she's so. But let's say there is a mass cataclysm. One of these mass cataclysms, great disasters. And what if she doesn't? What if this black phoenix doesn't show up? Well, then maybe that area starts to have something happen where the undead start to rise. So maybe skeletons and zombies and stuff. So like that kind of shows that maybe Anira isn't completely in 100% omnipotent and sees everything, knows everything, and all this other stuff. It's more like, or maybe there are certain areas or certain times where she's just not able to get to that. Something's blocking her or keeping her from helping these people pass on, and so now that area becomes just a place of undeath, where there's now just zombies. Skeleton, why am I doing that? Skeletons. Ghosts. Ghouls. Just all of this, like just the undead just start to rise up from this area. I think that's a cool little mechanic. So that way, so there you go. So as your players are walking through the world of Dathmora, maybe they've come upon, every once in a while they come upon two different things. One thing being these white golden tipped flowers that give off radiance and a little bit of life, and maybe this is it's a nice resting spot. Maybe you heal when you're next to one of these flowers, or you can use them for potions or whatever. And then maybe they also end up passing through some of these areas, an area of great death or great cataclysm, disaster, and it wasn't it wasn't overseen by Anira, and so now there's just zombies and skeletons, ghost schools, and all this other undead crap that's like rising up and kind of tormenting that area. I think that would be kind of cool, and that would also mean that maybe her clerics and druids end up going out and, you know, reclaiming this area and fixing it to now be balanced again. You know, they put these undead to rest and keep them from tormenting people, but also allow them to pass on into the afterlife. You know, so maybe Anira, she needs a little bit of help sometimes too, and maybe, you know, if she ends up making a mistake or passes something that she didn't see, she'll, you know, send a message or a vision to one of her clerics or her druids or whatever, and they'll then set up a party, send them off to go deal with the undead and do some sort of ritual to help help them pass on. I think that's awesome. I think that's such a cool idea for this this one main deity. So there we go. We got that. So I think that's good. I think it's good. A good start for this this main first deity. I think now we got to think about these other deities. So she's all about life and death and balance, and then we have our other four. I'm thinking we have one for creativity. So we have a creativity and art. And that could be, you know, so any art. So it could be drawing, it could be painting, it could be dancing, it could be music, it could be even inventions as well. Just that creativity, that imagination. It could be storytelling. So like having that creative mind, that inventive mind, that is what that's what this minor deity deals more with. So maybe a lot of people who are, and sorry, not connecting to druids. This is kind of its own thing up here, and then this is down here. But so maybe this one deity, creativity and art, allowing them to, so a lot of inventors, maybe even blacksmiths and stuff like that, or painters and dancers, and maybe a lot of bards, are more in tune with this creativity and art deity. That could be really cool. Another one we could do. Let's see. Okay, so I have a good couple more ideas. So we have to have four more. Or four different minor deities. We have our one. Maybe there's one for war, law, and order. War, law, and order. I think that's kind of a cool one. So this one's more of like the soldier and the judge. Like I feel like this one here, this one is going to be the the judge, jury, and executioner kind of a deal. They are, you know, all about judgment, and like same thing with Anira. They are about that balance. So honestly, maybe for them they have the what is this called? The this thing. the little I for some reason I'm drawing a blank on what that's called. A scale. So maybe they have like a scale with like maybe crossed swords or something behind it, or like a sword and a spear behind it. That could be kind of cool for their symbol. But maybe that's what they're all about, and they're more of like the more intense side of Anira. So maybe they handle all of like, okay, you've passed on, you are now heading towards your afterlife, but there's a checkpoint where now you need to be judged. You know, what did you do during your life? You know, and like it could be something where like, yeah, if you caused a major cataclysm and like killed, you know, hundreds if not thousands of people, okay, yeah, you're gonna be judged pretty harshly and sent, you know, accordingly. But if it's more maybe you only killed like one person, you murdered somebody, but you still had a lot of other things that were good or whatever, like I think it goes down to a specific, how does this deity want to handle things, and it's more kind of like how Egyptians with Anubis, they put your heart on a scale and they weigh it, and so that's how you're able to pass on and whatnot. So I think that would be kind of cool. Next one, I would like there to be maybe a god or goddess of love and passion. So now so love and passion, it doesn't have to be like romance, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you find your soulmate or you're the love of your life, your next partner or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. Like it can be that, but it's also a love for, an animal, or love for your family, or the love for something you're passionate in. So like, let's say for instance, I'm very passionate in my storytelling and my world building, and I love it very much. So maybe that's something that I connect with this deity with, is my love and passion for world building and storytelling. So like, maybe there's some people out there who are very much into the creativity and art deity, but they also will sometimes connect with the love and passion deity, because of their love and passion for what they do. So there's that too. But I mean, also this could be more of a more Cupid kind of situation, where it's like, love for someone else in a romantic way. So like that could be that as well. And then as far as the fourth one, I'm thinking this one is more nature, maybe, like the natural order of things. So like, we'll do that. So nature, and that could be like the elements, and maybe this somehow ties into the King of Ash. Is this the elemental god or deity? Like that could be kind of cool. So like nature, elements, moon, sun, and other stuff. So I think that would be kind of cool. So moon cycles, the sun's rotation, the elements, and again elementals and stuff like that. And maybe this, and that's how this connects with the King of Ash, is maybe this deity is very closely tied with the elemental planes of fire, water, earth, and air. So they, like, maybe they created those planes, and now all of a sudden this King of Ash has taken rule over the elemental fire plane, and is, going about and causing chaos. So maybe, or you know what? You could even say, what if this this nature or natural order god, or goddess, is now teaming up with, I don't know why I'm spelling stuff all weird, teaming up with the King of Ash. Like maybe this god or goddess is actually giving this King of Ash some sort of power that is allowing him to cross the planes and go into the material plane and take it over. Like maybe this nature or natural order or elemental god or goddess is wanting to take Anira's place, and by doing that, they are first taking the elemental plane. Maybe there's something that the King of Ash is searching for, and maybe it's Anira's, like, not power source, but like maybe there's something deep underground, or maybe the order that is keeping or that the order that is tied to Anira more closely has like a magical artifact that is tied to Anira that allows her to still connect with our plane, or something like that. That could be really cool. That could be something where that's what your players are. Maybe it got lost, and so your players are trying to find it, or maybe it's not lost. Maybe it's entombed somewhere, and nobody has seen it for a few hundred years, and so, or even 1,000 years. So now people are trying to, like, they're sending out your party to go find this artifact before the King of Ash does, and before he gives it to this god or goddess of nature. That could be really interesting. So that's something to really think about with all of this. But I think I'm gonna leave it here for right now. I think we got a good base for the moment for the 5 deities of Dathmora. I think we're kind of slowly creating the storyline of how this world and how this quote unquote campaign might play out. Because again, I mean, for all we know, maybe you decide that this is a villain campaign and you want your 4 players to be, you know, the King of Ashes, like right-hand guards or best soldiers or something like that. Or maybe you're just like the lowest tier of elementals and you are trying to become the King of Ashes, you know, top guards or whatever. Or again, maybe you are the heroes and whatnot. But like, I think we have a good little storyline of where this could lead, where this could go, and what might happen in the future. I mean, you know what? Maybe your players fail again, and Anira ends up losing all her power, and this new nature elemental god or goddess becomes the new main god or goddess. Or maybe the King of Ash, you know, double crosses this god or goddess and is now a god and is causing even more chaos, and like burning everything. Like that could be crazy. But I think there's a lot to work on with this, and not gonna lie, I feel like this is a good stopping point. Like, don't get me wrong, I do want to create names for our god of creativity and art, or god of war, law and order, love and passion and nature. I do want to create names for these deities. But other than that, like, I think we're kind of good with where this is going. So we'll leave this here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like down below. Just hit that subscribe button, as well as comment down below not only beans, but also comment down below any ideas or suggestions you have. Maybe names. So I named, you know, Anira, goddess of balance, but maybe name these other 4 deities. And if you have an idea of, like, you know, what their whole deal is, or maybe a symbol that could be for them, because I know we wanted war, law, and order to be like a scale with maybe a crossed sword and spear behind him, but like maybe creativity and art is something different that you want it to be. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment beans and whatever else, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.